Alright, before the UK went to lockdown again, we heard that there was a car, but not really a car, in Paris that 14-year-olds could drive without a license and hire by the minute. And yes, it is electric. Obviously, using that as an excuse, we hopped on the Eurostar to go check it out for ourselves. And here we are in Paris. This is powered. So here's the Citroen Amy. Admittedly, a little bit disappointed that it's not in the original baby blue colour, but the funky wrap definitely grew on me. And probably led to all the paparazzi, but more on that later. Free to Move is essentially like Zipcar, whereby with a very quick sign-up process, you have a wide choice of cars at your disposal in Paris. Follow me around Paris today as I give a view into how it feels to drive this around various touristic spots for the day, including the mighty Arc de Triomphe roundabout. And yes, I am French. After getting settled in and shooting a couple of B-rolls, we are off. Well, I was. So with a quick shift to reverse at the press of a button located on your bottom left, I picked up the wife and we set off to our first location, the Eiffel Tower, to have a proper look at the car and its features. Alright, as we drive off, it's clear to see what this car is going to be most popular for. It's so small, fun and easy to drive that it's great to use on short commutes to grab some groceries or pick up the kids, for example. I mean, the kid, if you have one, because there's only 2 seats. Or if you're 14 years old, looking to meet up with your friends near the Eiffel Tower, for example, and don't want to use the tube, bus, or even an electric scooter, you can use this. Alright, sure, it's no Ferrari, but it'll get you from A to B for a few euros or 6,000 euros if you go out and buy it. It is quite cheap, and that's because minimalism was used, and that was the key here to get that price. Yes, there's no rear view mirror, so you have to go old school by actually turning your head. But the huge sunroof does give great visibility, which is great if you're a tourist like me here, and can get the full view of the Eiffel Tower, like so. What a car. What a car, if we can still call it that. And that's because the official term for this is a quadricycle, Citroen's answer to your everyday city car needs. Recently, Citroen sent out a survey in the UK to actually see if there's a demand for something like this before getting loads of them shipped out. But hey, let's talk about some figures now. It's front-wheel drive with a top speed shy of 30 miles per hour. Yes, 30 miles per hour, which means that you can put your foot down and not risk getting points on your license. It's got a range of approximately 43 miles, charging through the mains only, and that takes you around 3.5 hours to get to a full charge. So it actually charges faster than my iPad. It's incredible, isn't it? It's such a tiny little car. I mean, I've seen videos, but this is a lot smaller than I expected. Let's take a look around. It's tiny, under 1.5 meters wide, 1.4 in fact, and less than 2.5 meters long, but can seat 2 people in relative comfort. Although not a lot of comfort, and that depends on your definition, which I can assure you we felt by the end of the day. If you haven't noticed yet, yes, the car is mostly symmetrical, with even the doors being the same on each side, meaning that they open from opposite sides. It's the same panel. And there's a very clever reason for this. It's Citroen's continuous attempt to simplify the manufacturing process. I mean, why build 2 different molds of a door anyway? More on these doors though. Who even needs handles with a push button lock to open them and bright orange straps to close them from the inside? Now let's talk more about the interior. Although quite bare, you still get somewhat of 2 seats, just slightly less comfortable than bus seats, and they adjust a little bit forward and back for the driver's seat. Not many buttons, in fact only 3 of them. One for the blower, one for the hazard lights, and one for the heated rear windscreen. And something I really like, if you want to cut costs and complexity, why have an infotainment system when the majority of us use our phones on a phone holder anyway? And this is exactly what PSA has done here. Although, in my case, seems like the phone holder was missing, so I can't really demonstrate it to you. But you can see the space right there. The small simple dash display which gives you all the info you need, such as how much range you've got left. I mean, what more could a 14-year-old want? There's some luggage space, more like a couple of shopping bags rather than really luggage. And yes, there's a cup holder for the hot chocolates I need to buy to keep myself warm, because the blower, although sounding like a hairdryer, didn't keep us warm at all. Oh, and it was so cold in Paris that I nearly forgot to show you another feature. So to go alongside this pretty bare interior, there's these little side, there's these little windows. What do you call this? No windows, isn't it? So you open these here, push it out, and that's all you're gonna get. Very French. Clearly, it's been built for the rideshare market. I can see this coming to the fleet of Zipcar almost instantly. Basically an alternative to the good old Boris bikes. But what you can quickly appreciate is that despite the minimalism, this gives you shelter against Britain's cold wet weather, compared to a Twizy for example, or a scooter or even a bike. Actually, you know what, this is a good time to talk about the ride itself. Extremely bumpy, although the Amy does have suspension. But there's something really fun about the car which gives it the happy factor. I think I was getting more attention from people around Paris than if I were driving a supercar, and probably more positive comments too. Parking is a breeze, can literally fit in anywhere, but no power steering, so you get an arms workout with every single drive, which is great since gyms are still closed. Turning circle is great too. But now is when we make the turn. Little 3-point turn for you guys. Gotta put your muscles into it. Little kids are glad to see a car like this. They're going to be able to drive this in about 6 years. Kind of scary when you think about it. Having done a couple of stops already around Paris, I had a brilliant idea. To make the most of the panoramic windows and get the adrenaline going, I decided to take it around the Arc de Triomphe roundabout, infamous for not having any lanes and usually quite busy. Perfect for our little Amy to squeeze through. We have now arrived at the Arc de Triomphe with its infamous roundabout, which I am now going to try in this very small Citroen.
Enter the roundabout, then your destination will be on the left.
Okay. Alright, we're now entering the roundabout. It's a little bit infamous, as you can tell. I'm gonna go around him, and here we go. I'm gonna floor it now. Really no lanes. There's a car on my right. It's about to go right into me. A bit of fun though. Helps that there's not many cars on the road today. And
your destination is on the left.
And I come out. Rear view mirror non-existent, and full panoramic view. Alright, after some more sunset driving and really taking in the streets of Paris, let's get to the verdict. Okay, so I've been driving it the whole day now. What's the verdict? I really like it. It's really fun. I mean, once you get past all the people staring at you from every single angle, it's really quite fun to drive around. It's nice to get around. Now back in London, I've got a 5 Series, which is a pretty big car to drive around London. Parking's always an issue, and with this you don't have to worry about that. You can park it anyhow and just leave it. It's quite convenient. In terms of the top speed, as you've seen it, it's not a lot, but I've found myself keeping up with every car in front of me, and as you can see, those guys are also looking. Just gotta get used to it. I haven't found myself putting my foot down a lot of times. One thing I do like though, I don't have to worry about speeding. Can put my foot down and don't have to worry about what speed I'm doing. Just gotta keep up. One thing though is the noise, is the sound of it. You know, I don't know how it's sounding right now, but in the car right now it's very loud. I think as a city car it does the job. It's exactly what you need. I can't see this being your only car, but I can see it, you know, as I mentioned, in Zipcar's fleet, for example. I do see this being the future of transport within big cities. It does feel, well, it is safer than electric scooters, while still being very practical. It It is freezing in here though, and I can imagine it being very, very hot in the summer. And if you want a bit of air, there's this hair dryer, which you can turn on, which you probably wouldn't do, and just use the mirrors, and just use the windows. What I don't understand though is how they can let 14-year-olds drive these cars around Paris without a license. Because, you know, my old 14-year-old self would be really excited at the prospect of driving something like this on the roads. But as the responsible adult that I've become, it's kind of scary, because it does feel exactly like a car. You know, call it a quadricycle. It is a car. It feels like a car. You are on the roads, and you need a bit of driving skills to be able to drive that around. So I don't know, if you've got young siblings, would you let a 14-year-old drive this around? I don't know. So I think, yeah, I do understand why the UK would continue having, you know, normal car rules for this. A license and being 17 years old, yeah, it kind of makes sense. And sure, although I said most people will probably only use this on rideshare, Citroen is actually offering these on 48-month leases in France for only 30 euros a month. I mean, 30 euros a month for that price and getting basically a car which you don't need a license for is quite tempting. You know, for us it's been a very fun trip around Paris, driving this around, going from place to place. Very convenient. But I hope you've learned a lot about what this car can be and, you know, can see a future in it. Thanks for watching. This is Powered.